Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming, and something on Twitter the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you to the Let's Play episode of Beasts of the Thorns. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. I just noticed a reflection on that. I wonder what it is. Looks like a cat creature of sorts, a cat demon or whatever they're called. Alright, let's jump right back in. Oh, lordy! Okay. Why should I be discriminated against for something I didn't do? And only because of your ignorance? Why should I suffer because you're afraid? And then to act like you're the victims? I didn't want to be born a Dullahan. Hey, Hess, it's okay. I'm here for you. You don't have to. Ostrom says you can all hide very well. It's bad luck for those who can't. I'm feeling remorseful just thinking about it. It's true that Chris and Amora don't need to be here with me. I understand that. It's just that this anger has nowhere to go. I'm fine. I'm not okay. But I can't say it. I can't say it. It wouldn't do any good. I don't even have the right to cry. Ostrom looked at Chris with a screwed-up expression. Chris is anxiously trying to say something. It seems his mind is organizing words in desperation. He's trying to comfort me, but he's afraid the words will hurt me. But he who is full of wounds is sore when the wind blows. And how can you not hurt me? Chris, I'm fine. I was betrayed by my own trembling voice. I can't even fool myself with this almost broken tone of voice. Hello, are you guys there? It's your turn, Hess. Amora's presence at this time was like an amnesty, saving me from an embarrassing situation. I made a decisive move to the consulting room. The atmosphere in the waiting room was unbearable. Wait, let me speak to Malachite first. He approached the clinic ahead of me and told me to wait at the door. A woman's voice came faintly from the clinic. Then the door opened and a full protest was clearly leaked. I don't care what your considerations are. You are violating my terms of reference. I'm sure Professor Nicholas will respect my judgment, Miss Malachite, and you can contact him later if you have any claims. You're causing me trouble, Ostrom's little boy. Do you mean to complain to the head of the House of Ostrom? The lady known as Malachite seems to have succumbed. Next time, let him in. In view of Hess's exception, our kind Lady Malachite has made an exception to allow your friends to accompany you to the clinic. Chris, Moore, come in and find a place to sit. Please make yourself at home please make yourself at home. Professor Malachite, from Ostrom's. Oh, cool. I like her design. I trend forward only to see a simply furnished room, clinic room with a computer on a log table. The old professor gestured for me to sit at the table. She was a diminutive female professor, and when she stood, the ghostly fire on the top of her head burned slowly right in front of my eyes. One more time. Professor Malachite glared at Ostrom. Why don't you leave? I'm certainly a friend of Hess's, aren't I? Ostrom winked playfully at me. Yes, ma'am, he can stay. Professor. All right, Professor Malachite. Malachite ignored Ostrom and began the usual process of measuring my height and weight, doing basic tests for hearing, vision, etc. Until after using a stethoscope to check my breathing, she stopped working. He scratched his head with pencil in confusion. Ostroms, the information is incorrect. Theoretically, it can't go wrong. Are you sure? This is interesting. Malachite picked up the telephone handset on his desk and pressed the intercom. Evelyn, bring me the equipment from Cabinet 8. I'm in Research B. Then she cut the phone and looked at Ostrom. Preliminary inspection would be incorrect, Ostrom. Dullahan is a dead demon and will not have a heartbeat. Have you ever seen any ghost, zombie, or mummy with a heartbeat? That's not possible. The facts are in front of you. See for yourself. There's a heartbeat. There's temperature. The blood's still warm. Ostrom put his paw on my carotid artery. His somewhat anxious movements revealed panic. Have you lost your doggy nose? How could you make such an idiotic mistake? You wouldn't have made that mistake if you'd taken a little less of your bullshit and a little more serious study. I wonder what Scott would think if he knew you were making such low-level mistakes. This has nothing to do with Grandpa. Ostrom obviously feels humiliated. His ears drooped. We haven't touched a Dullahan in over 100 years. It's not my fault. You can recite the history of the war 2,000 years ago backwards and forwards, but you can't recognize the demons of a mere 100 years. Catch it. Malachite threw a yellow object at me. I caught it in a panic. Up in my hand, it was a heavy golden fountain pen. Dullahan with regard to gold. as we werewolves are to silver. What does that mean? Karmic substances. Many powerful demons have special weaknesses. For example, you can only kill werewolves with silver bullets, and Dullahan is afraid of gold. Ostrom stared with a very hard face at the gold pen in my hand. More importantly, where is his head? Isn't being headless what makes one a Dullahan? A Dullahan is a head separated from the body, not headless. Ancient Dullahan would hold his head and move. This student is a demon of some kind outside of Dullahan. Malachite pressed the hands-free amplifier on the intercom with a tweety finger and yelled in a high but more threatening tone. Evelyn, come on! Then a pitifully small, white-robed female rat orc struggled through the door carrying a pile of equipment. She set the pile of equipment on the table, one by one, as everyone watched. Upon completion of her task, she gave a curt bow to Malachite and hurriedly exited the room. She was faintly heard muttering something like old hag or something like that. I couldn't help but look with horror at the table full of unknown utensils. And some of the devices looked like medieval torture devices. Second now. Malachite puts on gloves and picks her way through a pile of equipment, looking like an executioner picking at her own tools. Give me a break. Malachite glares angrily at Amor, who is reaching for a trapper-type prop. Any one of the artifacts here is worth more than your life. Keep your dirty paws to yourself. Why'd you say dirty paws? Jeez. Oh, look, a ninja star. Then she brought out a star-shaped octagonal compass in a marvelous shape. This is an astrological chart made 500 years ago by Claudius, the dragon of rational astrology. So who's the dragon of irrational astrology? Which is capable of unfolding the compositional charts of magical creatures. Malachite introduces this antique object in a mesmerizing tone. Yet this is the most unscientific tool I've ever seen, and Malachite seems unfamiliar with its workings as she pushes up her presbyopic glasses and turns the ring of gears in the star chart at a certain angle, and then turns the other ring of gears at a different angle. Then the chart clicked and unfolded like a flower. The students in the audience couldn't help but gasp. You take it and try it. I received the star map, and the marvelous prop continued to change its configuration. Finally, it was fixed in the form of a metal sphere with innumerable grooves. Oh, I know what that is. Malachite nudged its presbyotic glasses again. Ugh! I've never seen that statistic before. It's not broken, is it? Don't you dare talk nonsense. Claudius is the only dragon in the world whose wisdom is immeasurable. This artifact has operated for 500 years without a single misstep. It's just that Claudius observes the world differently than we do, so it's hard to explain in our language. Malachite takes the star chart from me, walked over to the large table stacked with books and tools, and with a sweep of her hand pushed the piles of objects off the tabletop, revealing the brass structure set into the tabletop underneath. She rearranged the order of the gears on the brass structure and pressed several buttons, but nothing happened. Malachite muttered angrily. That lazy rat forgot to remember maintenance again. I should really fire her. Then she kicked the table hard. The table's mechanism began to move. Success! The brass structure slowly opened up into a groove just big enough to hold the chart, and Malachite placed the chart on it, turned it at several angles. With a slight click, the chart locked onto the structure. Then the old typewriter on the other side of the room began to type on its own, emitting a hesitant rhythm. This is the Star Map Translator, my greatest invention. The old professor appeared to be satisfied. Let's see what you little fuckers are made of. She checked up on the half-type manuscript on the typewriter. Let's see, living demons with extremely low affinity indexes, below average physical ability. The race has a long history. Second, y'all. Water time. Alright, my lovelies, and we are back. Let's jump back into it, shall we? Okay. Last measurement record. No. Class, this is an unprecedented discovery. The old professor was so excited that her whole body shook. Malachite declared with unconcealed joy, A demon of unknown species! Evelyn, come here right now! A wail was heard in the distance. Contact the old reptile and the old dog. We're gonna get busy. Malachite began to take notes on me and looked up to find all of us staring at her in dismay. She gave us an extremely unpleasant look. What are you guys still doing here? And then we were booted out of her clinic. Well, it looks like the analysis will take a little while. Malachite has an eccentric personality, but her knowledge is unquestionable. Senior Ostrom didn't even bother with respectful language towards Malachite, seeming to hold a grudge against the professor for the recent failure. I'll have to report this to Professor Nicholas. It's rather strange. Our administration rarely makes mistakes. After all, we don't use that human stuff. Ostrom laughed awkwardly, but there was something about Amore's comment that made me a little uncomfortable. It was as if he had no attachment to human society and even sounded a bit hostile. I feel like I've had enough excitement today. I just want to rest. Well, just in time to give you the keys. He conjured up 3 keys out of nowhere and handed them to us. The keyring has your room number on the front of the tag above the keyring and your name on the back. Don't get it off, it's custom made. I examined the hang tag on the top of the key, and it's resin infused. Ostrom is quite capable of taking care of these details. The luggage has been sent inside the room, so you can sort it out whenever you want. You may need to talk to your professor before you start formal classes, and you may have some classes to catch up on. I will text the scheduled itinerary to your cell phone, so please remember to check it. With that said, Ostrom made a phone call without being impolite. He dialed the phone anxiously and quickly. Then, he and his exasperated conversation left us, leaving only muffled echoes drifting between the corridors, and it seemed that this administrative error had wide-ranging implications. I have to wonder, am I really not a Dullahan? I'm not in danger at all. It makes me feel a bit unjustly accused. I should be angry about this. Damn rotten government. But after today's emotional turmoil, I'm feeling a bit drained. It's like part of me has gone on strike, deliberately choosing not to think, but deep down I know there's a faint hope that one day I'll end this exile and return home. I'm hopelessly naive. Getting the government to admit its mistakes is harder than climbing to the heavens, especially such colossal mistakes. With the human governments constantly ignoring the rights of the outerlands, even if the outerlands send protest messages to the government, they'll just ignore them, won't they? Are you all right? Amore's tone shows concern. He has always been so good at reading people. Second now. Alright. Unlike his brisk persona, he always had the subtlety to know how to treat me in a comfortable way. Chris always treated me like a brother, but his kindness was often too much. I think I'm okay. I'll try to absorb the shock of the last few days. Why don't we go to the square? The event will continue into the night. I think we should check out the dorms first. You don't want to sleep on the streets, do you? Chris is right, and we haven't familiarized ourselves with the environment yet. But I don't think it's too late to deal with it. Club activity enrollment is definitely going to end soon. I shrugged my shoulders. Fine. I'll buy whatever you want. Sounds intriguing. I think I just saw passion fruit ice cream. It sounds even more tempting, doesn't it? My treat. I wanted to say goodbye to Ostrom before leaving, but he's nowhere to be found. He hasn't touched the meals he brought us. We'll eat them later when we get the chance, so the coffee has gone cold. It's better than nothing. The 3 of us exchanged thoughts in the elevator about which club to join, deciding to gather more information while there are many activities going on. Chris strongly wants the 3 of us to join the same club, while Amore seems indifferent, suggesting he has his own plans. Me? I've always been a homebody from elementary school to university, with no desire to cultivate interests or socialize. Maybe it's because I could always hang out with Chris and other good friends after school, so I didn't feel the need to actively seek out new friends. Alright, I'm going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. And our new Not Safe for Work video on A Place to Call Home is up, y'all. So if y'all want to see that video, it's as little as $5. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye!